Hey guys, ghazzyTV here with another YouTube video guide. Today we're going to talk about fossil crafting and profit crafting, and that's about it. We're going to go through all the details of how crafting works, and we're going to show you how fossil works and the different tools you can utilize for the sake of this crafting. This might be a little bit longer video than usual. I'm going to do a little funny thing. It's something I've been considering doing in the past. So we're going to run a little bit of competition during the video. During the lapse of this video, there will be some red dots showing up on the stream that looks like this up here. And I want to see how many people can get this right. How many red dots will be seen in this video from start to finish? Let me know in the comments below, and I will shout out the winner in my next video. So moving on with this guide, basically I'm going to show you how fossil crafting works, and we're also going to be doing this for the sake of profit. Now, as profit goes, it kind of depends on how the market looks when it comes to builds, and something I utilize a lot when it comes to profit crafting is to check the PoE.ninja, go to builds and see which builds are popular. As you can see, pretty much everyone's playing Cyclone, and then it kind of evens out quite well between right now Stormman and BV, Arc, Ice Nova. Before ED and Ball Lightning were the top ones during the start of the league, which is quite common, at least when it comes to the ED builds as well as Ball Lightning minor builds. So basically you have to follow the market when it comes to profit crafting and check what's popular to be played and then craft items for the sake of that type of profit. I currently sit on about 62x. The items I have left is about 120x worth. Some of them have been crafted, some of them haven't been crafted. And I shipped some over to my friend Kaka, who has like about 150x additional items that we've crafted for profit as well. So it's kind of easy once you learn how to do it, but you have to follow the market. So I'm going to show you how crafting works and explain that in detail so everyone will have a full understanding of how crafting actually works. And to do so, I'm going to do a rather niche craft. So this might not be something that will be ultimately profitable to craft due to how Winter Orb is not as popular to be played right now. So if you look at Winter Orb, for example, on the PoE Ninja, these are only taking characters level 96 and higher. Only some of them are CI and some of them are low life. Not everyone though, they're pretty squishy. Some of them are using headhunters and whatnot. And some are even going Archmage with it. So with that in mind, this might not be the best option to do for the sake of crafting, for the profit right now, but I will show you how to do crafting with it. When it comes to energy shield bases, the first thing you gotta realize is that quality matters a lot when it comes to energy shield bases. That's because the quality is increasing the baseline energy shield that you are providing on the actual item, which is then scaled up with the energy shield increasements you have in your tree and whatnot. So percent quality is very important, and the way you do that is basically by utilizing one socket resonators with perfect fossil. This will re-roll the quality on the item from anywhere between nothing up to 30%. As you can see in this helmet, it has 29%, and since I'm doing this for the sake of showing profit crafts, I am not going to care about getting that perfect 30%. I usually stop at 28 or 29 or 30, of course, when it comes to these things, to not waste these too much, because perfect fossils can sometimes be rather expensive. The next step I do is one out of two different things. You can either utilize the website craft2exile.com, learn this. There is a how to use segment here, which will show you how to get very specific modifiers and how many fossils and how many tries that would average take to hit. I will link this website, of course, in the description below. I don't use this for profit crafting. The reason I don't use this is because there are a handful of different modifiers that can land on specific items that you're crafting that you would keep because it is now profitable to sell. Whereas Craft of Exile is something I can utilize very well when it comes to crafting very specific items that I would actually want to use. Or if I don't care about certain other modifiers that would still be profitable, but I want to go for something very specific, then this would be a great example of utilizing it. Instead, I am using this website, PoE database mods, and then go to Helmet's Intelligence. And in here, I can see that for the sake of energy shield, which is very important, on an energy shield base, I would need on the left-hand side, item level 84, which would be the highest energy shield providing modifier. 86 can roll plus 3 to minion in gems, for example. As you can see on this one, it's an 86, which is not perfect for this. The best I could get would be to have a straight 84, as I would then remove a mod pool. In this case, would remove this one from being able to be rolled. And I explain how the mod weights work. That's very important to learn crafting on more of an advanced stage, and that's what I'm going to do with this video. Go from basic crafting to actually show you exactly how everything works. That's why this video is going to take a little bit of time to go through, so bear with me. So in this case, we have a Redeemer base helmet with a decent enchant, which is the whole purpose of this specific craft. So if you look at Redeemer base, that means you can roll on this helmet. All of these modifiers can roll. And since I have 86, it can roll literally all of them, including the extra modifier here, because if it would be lower than 85, let's say at 84, it would not be able to roll this specific modifier. It's a Redeemer base, which means that it's also including all of these modifiers, and again, because it's 86, I can roll this one, which is the one we're going to go for, so we would kept at 85, but an 86 would actually remove that modifier right there from being able to be rolled. Now, how does weight of these modifiers work? So this basically shows you the rarity of a mod to show up on an item. So the way it works is this. You would have to calculate, this is what Craft to Exile website would do for you, but it's a bit tricky if you want to show a lot of different rolls that you would keep, but you can do that if you want to. The way weight works is that you would take all of the mods that can roll, all the weight of that. So for example, Life has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different modifiers that can roll, and they all have a weight of 1,000. So there is a weight of 1,000 to roll a life modifier, and there's an equal chance to roll a tier 1 life roll as well as the shittiest tier as well. So it's the same odds to hitting those. So this is 10,000 adding to your weight pool. Then you would have to take the mana, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's 12,000. Suddenly the weight pool is 22,000. Because you had life and mana being there. You have to do this with all of the modifiers, including the modifiers from the Redeemer pool down here, and that will give you a maximum amount of weight, and that will be 100% basically. And then to calculate the odds of actually getting a specific modifier, so let's say I want the life modifier, it would be the total weight pool divided by 10,000. That's your percent chance to hit a life roll by just alching, alteration spamming, or chaos spamming the item. There would be the weight pool divided by the 10,000, and in those 10,000 there's a 10% chance that will be a tier 1, if that modifier hits in the first place. So that's how you calculate how weights work. Now, when it comes to fossil crafting, they've changed that rather recently, so they don't add modifiers to the pool. It will only remove them. So in our case, we're going to use this to craft, let's see, Redeemer. We are looking for this modifier specifically, but we will be looking at other modifiers if we hit them. But this one is the one that we're specifically looking for, which is a cold one, which allows us to use a frigid fossil. Now, frigid fossils allows us to have more cold modifiers and no fire modifiers. So if I click this one, some of the modifiers now disappeared from the weight of the map, the pool. Cold resistance have a +1, and cold damage to spells on Shaper, but we don't have a Shaper base, so don't have to worry about it. And on Redeemer, we have a higher chance of rolling physical damage taken as cold damage. We also have increased chance to freeze and increased freeze duration, as well as the modifier we're looking for, which has a weight of 250. But we did remove some of the modifiers. Since we're caring about energy shield, we will also be using a dense fossil. Now, dense fossils allows us to have more armor, energy shield, or evasion modifiers, but it removes this 10,000 from the pool entirely, because life rolls can't be rolled, and it's as well as the hybrid rolls. So clicking this one removes quite a few of these, but increases the weight. Now, how much do these modifiers get the increase? So we can look at the wiki and look at dense fossil. It should be stating here if I'm not incorrect. Let's see if we can find that real quick. The weighting is right there. Using this fossil multiplies the spawner weights to all modifiers with life tags by 0. So they are removed entirely. And the defensive tags are multiplied by 10. This means that using a dense fossil on a helmet like this means that these modifiers have not 1,000 weight, they have 10,000 weight because they're multiplied by 10. And that's how the calculation is done for weighting. And some other fossils, like the Aberrant Fossil, is a bit different. This one, for example, only increases poisons by 5 and chaos tags by 10, and then removes the modifiers for lightning. So different fossils have different type of weighting multiplications to your modifiers, and this is if you want to calculate these things yourself. And that's how you can understand it and how the tools you can utilize to actually calculate it yourself. But Craft to Exile is a very good website to utilize this for. All of these links will be in the description below, of course. So to go through and forward to show you how I would craft this helmet, I don't want to stop at anything below 300 energy shields. So basically when it comes to profit crafting, I want to see what type of modifiers you want and where you want to stop for the sake of profit. So I'm going to go into pathofexile.com/trade or poe.trade, whichever you prefer, and I'm going to show you a Winter Orb stages, have a minimum of 2, and I also want to have nearby enemies have 2 cold resistance, and we want to search for this. These are the modifiers we're looking for. So as you can see here, a helmet with this is already down to 255 energy shield, 20% quality. That's an 8 exalted. Now this one I actually paid 6 exalted for this base. It has 29% quality, so that was pretty cheap. So what I'm looking for is something that is much more than that. And this one doesn't have any resistances. It's even bench crafted to get that ES. It's not a good helmet, so we're looking for something that is better than this. And we have to take into consideration that we paid 6 exalted for the actual base of the helmet. So if you go a little bit higher, you can see that this one has life, so that would work for hybrid helmets, has some resistances. Suddenly we're talking about 15x profit from it. This one has bad energy shield, but it has resistances, 12 exalted, and anything better than that would just go higher. So I don't want to stop at anything below 300 energy shield or around 300 energy shield, because then we're starting to talk about actual decent profit out of this, if it gets sold, obviously. So looking at the PoE/DB modifiers, we have an increased chance of rolling cold because these are multiplied by 10, so there's 10,000 on these pools, and we removed some of the pools, some of the weighted mods, so the odds of these hitting is higher. Now the problem is that this is the big one. It only has a weight of 250. This is very, very rare. You have other modifiers that are even rarer, like flaring, merciless, or modifiers like if enemies you kill explode, for example, the exploding chest piece, which a lot of people are going for. They have a weight of 25, so that's why it's so fucking rare. So we're going to go on and craft this and see where we land. So basically we use a dense fossil, and where is the frigid? There's the frigid right next to it. And then we re-roll it, and we can see that this one doesn't have the modifier. We can see that it hits the +3 of minion gems, which is a bad thing because we would have been able to have that away from a pool if you only had an item level 85 helmet, but that was a bit hard to fix. So this is what we're crafting with. So we're just going to keep going like this. So this one still doesn't have the modifier we're looking for, which means that we're going to keep going. Frigid fossil, dense fossil. We see here that we have the modifier physical damage taken from hits as cold damage, which is pretty high there. But we also see that this one has a modifier called Redemption, which is a suffix modifier that reduces mana reserved, which is over here. This one has a 500 weight, a little bit more common than some of the other ones, but because we're using frigid fossils, we have a 2,500 weight to this. This one's more common than the mod we actually hit, so that's a bit unlucky for us. But if we hit a high energy shield helmet with that modifier, we might actually keep it. We'll have to check the market of how much that would cost. We can actually do that right now. So if we do remove that modifier and reduce mana reserved, getting the spell, let's see if I can find that modifier. That's not an enchant. Mana reservation. Mana reservation should be there. Increased mana reservation. Search for this one. We can see that it has reduced mana reservation, and if we look at something with something like 300 plus energy shield without modifier, without that, so 300 without modifier would again be something that would be worth keeping. This is why I don't want to use craft to exile. So if I hit high energy shield without modifier, I'm going to keep it and sell it because that would be profit for me. In this case, obviously, we're going to recraft it because it didn't hit what we needed to. We have another 25 tries. We'll see if we actually hit it in these tries, but this is again a video to show you how you can do it. That's a really bad one. We do another one that was a frigid, right? Correct. Moving on. 185. None of the modifiers you want to keep. Re-rolling. Another frigid to 141. Still bad. And moving on. And keep in mind that the nearby enemies is worth it even if you don't get really high energy shield. So that's something you'll have to double check in this specific craft. 244. Now this would have been really good if it had any of the modifiers, because it seems like it has an open suffix. But again, the prefixes are not enough energy shield to make that super valuable, but it would still be profit if I hit any of those modifiers. And that's basically how I would craft this type of helmet and how fossils would work. So let's see if we hit it. We have another 18 or 19 tries. Not enough ES and not the mods we want. Let's see. 248, again lacking the modifiers. The energy shield is pretty fine on it, and the quality on this is helping the energy shield going up quite a lot. Like this one is really, really bad, for example. And this is basically how you do the crafting. In dense fossils, frigid fossils are very cheap. The resonators are in the current league, in the current time of the recording of this, costing about 2 chaos a pop. So it's not that expensive to do these crafts in general. This one is actually better than a 250 energy shield because it has 53 intelligence, and intelligence is worth a lot of energy shield, and so that's something you shouldn't be ignoring if you hit something like that. So we're gonna keep going and see where we land with this, and if we're gonna hit it or not, we'll see. Hope we do. It would be a bit of a shame if we didn't hit it. Next one, still not getting the modifiers we want, despite increasing the weight of it. Do the next one, 156. We hit the physical damage. Let's see the weight of this one. This one has a 500 weight, so a little bit more common than the one we want. And that's the situation right now. Let's see, frigid, and boom. Nope, getting garbage. Need to buy some more scour orbs, actually. And 200, not getting what we want. Not getting what we want at all. Let's see, this one. Ooh, okay. So here's another problem with this. This is a 4 tier 1 roll. Holy shit. The problem with this is that we have purchased a helmet for 6 exalted. Holy shit. This is the problem. We have 29% quality on this, which is a problem because we've taken a Redeemer base. We've hit modifiers that are not touching the Redeemer base. If we look at the helmet for this, take another search for this. This is a triple tier 1. We can actually get this one up to absurd amount of energy shield. So if we look at a Hubris Circlet with 350 energy shield, or 340 at least, without any of these modifiers, just this base with this amount of energy shield is about 5 exalteds. We then add Winter Orb Stages enchant on it. We can see that just this energy shield, we now have a helmet worth about 15x. We have resistances. This one has intelligence, but it has an open suffix for the sake of resistances. So what I could do with this one, I can slam it, pray I get intelligence or resistances, and then craft the last one. And this helmet is worth potentially a lot more than 15x. So that's what we're going to do. We didn't hit what we wanted, but this is why I do not use craft to exile to do the calculations for profit crafting. So this is actually an insane helmet already, and we're probably going to divine it up to have a bit better energy shield out of it, just for the fun of it. And the funny thing about this is that it's very easy to do these crafts, but the way profit crafting works is that you shouldn't gate yourself out of other profitable items or profitable crafts that you can get. So in this case, for the sake of everything, we're going to be slamming this one. So we do this, and the modifiers we want is, obviously, if we're lucky, if we're really lucky, we're going to hit this modifier. However, the weight doesn't work on Exalted Orb because that's only in the fossils. So if we're lucky, we get this one. If we're lucky, we get intelligence. If we're lucky, we get resistances. So there's a lot of modifiers that we can hit on this slam that would be worth keeping. And there's only suffix slots open. So Chaos, Rest for Low Life, any of the other resistances we can hit Cold, Fire, Lightning because we're not using fossils. That's 4 resistance rolls, intelligence roll, the nearby enemies, mana reservation, that's 6. And the rest are pretty bad. So what we can do with this is we can block with this, and that's something also. Thank you for reminding me about that, by the way. We can block a craft that we don't want out of this. So we're looking at the modifier that would be the worst suffix for us to get, and this is how we basically craft another suffix because there's 2 suffixes open. We craft one that is really bad for us, and then we utilize that to then slam, and that means that entire mod will be taken away. In this case, we have attribute requirements, which is really whatever. Light Rays Global Accuracy is whatever. Accuracy is really whatever. What else do we have? Redeemer. No. So basically, I think Rarity, Accuracy, or the Hybrid Accuracy would be the worst ones. Attributes is bad, but not as bad as accuracy. Because attribute requirements would make it easy to off-color if somebody wants to do that. So it has a teeny tiny bit of value. And then stun and block recover is really bad, but some people do max block builds. So again, I think accuracy would be the shittiest one. I would say accuracy block, yeah, that's what I'm thinking. So what we do is we go to to accuracy, and then we craft the cheapest one to waste less currency. Now we have accuracy, which means that if you look at the accuracy roll right there, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different modifiers from the pool that is taken away. If we would do stun and block recovery, there will be quite a few as well here with quite high weight, so you could do that as well. It's up to you how you want to do it and which one you want to block. So it's literally up to you. So you block a craft, you slam it, and then we decide what to do after the slam. So in this case, we're going to slam this one, bam, and we got a fire rest roll, which is really good. It's a really bad tier, but it's still 20 additional resistances. Now, the only way I can decide what to do here, I can either craft this with a resistance or a double resistance, whatever I want to do, and then sell it as is. Or I will simply remove the craft and slam again and hope I get another rest, or hope that I'm going to get this specific modifier. And since this modifier will increase the value of this item tremendously, I am thinking about either removing the craft just to slam it again for the off chance of getting an insane helmet, because there's triple tier 1 instead of hitting a chance of hitting a shit roll, or I can just craft it for the sake of profit. Now, I am going to remove this and slam it, but I would recommend not doing this. I would recommend keeping that suffix open so other people can decide what to do with it, but I will do it just for the sake of it, because it's fun. So what we do is we do this, and we remove... Where is it? Remove craft and mod. Drop that. Oh yeah, we can actually do quality. That's actually something I didn't think about. No. Wait, why can't I do quality? Quality does not exist on helmets. Right, that I did remove it. So we're gonna slam it. Right, there we go. We're gonna slam it. I wouldn't do that. This helmet is worth a shitload. For the sake of it, we're going to show how much this is worth in its current state. This is a triple tier 1. We can actually divide it up to even higher energy shield. So let's say 350 energy shield. It currently has about 60 plus resistances. I can't craft quality. Yeah, and the helmet can be meta crafted as well, so maybe we should keep it like this. I didn't think about that. Meta crafting is more advanced crafting, and meta crafting basically means that you could craft prefixes can't be changed and then scour it. And what would then happen is you would keep all the prefixes, and then you could slam it again for those modifiers as suffixes, and then rinse repeat the process if you want to. So it actually is a really sick helmet for that process. I didn't think about that at all. However, that's a very expensive process to do. I want to slam it. I really want to slam it. Yeah, now the smartest way is to keep it this way. So it's worth a lot as it's in itself, and it's also worth it for the sake of being able to be meta crafted with this type of base. So just for the sake of not including the value of looking at the metacraft possibility, it has 66% resistances. We're going to divide it to a little bit higher ES for the fun of it, but that's a 350 energy shield with a lot of energy, with a lot of resistances. So if you look at this one, it will be able to get about this number, but this one has 48 intelligence, but barely any resistances. So I'd say it's close to this. If we go down to 25x, we can see that this one has 40. This one has the same amount of rest with the same amount of energy shield, so this is about the same. This one also has a suffix open with a triple tier 1. This one has exactly those modifiers actually. So we would be able to sell it between 20 and 25 exalted quite easily. And as you can see here in the bottom, you can see it on the stream, right? This one has resistances with that modifier, and that's 51x. So we spent 6 exalteds, about 20 resonators. So that's about 40 chaos, plus 1c each for the other ones. So that's about 40 more, that's 80 chaos. So we spent 6x, less than 7x, quite a lot less than 7 exalteds, and we now have a helmet that is worth about 20 to 25. Now obviously this is pretty goddamn rare. If we didn't hit that much energy shield, we'd look at the nearby enemies. Enemies have percent to cold resistance. For 300 ES, just these modifiers on a 300 plus energy shield base would be 40x. So again, that would be pretty solid. Redeem roll, I should get redeem roll 100%. Yeah, we can absolutely do that as well. We might actually do some more crafting in this. Either way, so this is a helmet that you can do a lot of different things with. Just to recap what's happening, we paid a base helmet for 6 exalteds with a redeemer, winter ore plus 2 maximum stages. Then we use frigid fossils. Let me show you how they look. frigid fossils to increase cold modifiers, removing fire. And then we also use dense fossils to remove all the light modifiers and increase its energy shield rolls. And we use these with 2 socket resonators, which are about 2 chaos apiece. And then we crafted them, and the odds of hitting something like this is not very hard to do. And I can sell this helmet for at least 20 exaltas in its current state. We can do a lot of other things with it, and that's how fossil crafting works. And you can do this with so many different items. And I would suggest when you do crafting for profit that you look up how the build popularity looks in the league, decide what to craft from there, utilize Craft to Exile or PoEDB mods, decide which fossils you want to use, if you want to use fossils at all. We're going to make some more videos in the future talking about other ways of crafting and other ways of profit crafting, but this is an easy way to do it. And about 300 exaltas of what we've made so far in this league, or 250 or 300x of what I made, has just been random profit crafts here and there. Sadly, I haven't been able to capitalize profit on it because I'm showing you guys how to do it, and you guys are flooding the markets. But I'm gonna make so many that eventually you guys won't be able to flood all the markets, I hope. But that's how I do it. It's very simple. Let me know in the comments below what you guys feel about this. I stream on Twitch 5 to 6 times a week. So you can check out my schedule in the Discord server, in the schedule chat channel in my Discord server. A link to that in the description below. So make sure you tune in and say hi. And let me know in the comments below what you guys feel about these crafting videos and how to do them, and if you feel that they are useful and if you want to see more. And also hit me up in the comments with the correct amount of red dots you saw across the stream, and I will shout out one random winner with the correct answer in my next video. So till next time, boys, stay safe, keep rocking, and have a great night, boys.